our Urban Decay section.
Life is going to be okay after this section.
Yeah, in uplifting gold. But our Urban Decay section, our first clip from Urban Decay is kind of like, you know how sometimes when you're doing something and you're on the right track, like the universe kind of gives you a nod and kind of, or like a wink. You could even argue it's a sign you're doing God's work.
Yeah, you could.
That's what I think happened in this week's Urban Decay clip.
Okay, it's a big fight at the airport. 2 different fights going on. One cluster here.
Everyone's fighting.
One cluster there.
Another cluster there. And look in the background. In the background, the store in the background is called Urban Decay.
There you have it, folks.
If you were unsure or if you didn't know if you're on the right side or doing the right thing by watching this podcast's Urban Decay section every week, I think now we know.
Yeah, we solidified it there, guys.
Yeah, that's a sign from higher up for sure.
And that's like a makeup store or something?
Yeah, I think so.
So people have sent us that before. Obviously, we have that. But to see Urban Decay happening in front of Urban Decay,
that's about as good as it gets. That's a
nice.
nod. That's like a tip of the hat and a wink from God.
Can we do an exercise here? Is there any situation where you'd fight at an airport? Someone slapped your mom, I guess, like the top of the fighting spear.
Yeah, it would have to be a direct attack on the elders of my family.
Yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. Everything else, I'd walk away. And
go ahead.
I think it's pretty funny because it's like, nobody has any weapons. They just went through security. So it's like, you're just going to brawl with someone and just beat them up?
And then what? Get banned
Get on
from
your
the
flight.
airport?
Get on your flight? You
you're
think you're getting on your flight?
So you're banned from the airport. You're not allowed to fly from Atlanta to Miami on $46 Spirit Airlines flight anymore. You're done.
Yeah. Like, what do they expect to happen? Like, all right, cool. Took care of that. Let me get a vodka cranberry.
Group 5? Yeah, that's me.
Boarding group 10. It's boarding group 10. Back of the plane, 33E.
Exactly. The $46 flight to Miami.
Yeah.
Next clip is a little more depressing. There is a fight in a grocery store, like bodega style place in New York, and it ends with a guy in a wheelchair, innocent, getting run over.
Yeah.
So here's them. They're fighting it out.
The fight spills out onto the road. I skip forward a little bit. The typical hair pulling and top punching, which is a terrible technique. Bad fighting. And so, they're trying to break it up. There's some guys involved. One of the women's gets in her car.
Gets in her Honda. She's going to finish the fight. Starts going.
Financed Honda. She probably pays like $700 something predatory a month.
One track mind. All she can think about is killing this person she's fighting with. The guy gets out of the way and she runs over the guy in the wheelchair who's just sitting there, a guy in a stoop.
Couldn't get away. 59-year-old. He died, unfortunately.
Yeah. So she's charged with murder. Which the charges should be dropped, to be honest, because Lizzo told us how oppressed black people are.
Holy shit! I didn't make that connection.
So yeah, they should be let go. Lizzo made a very good point about how black people are oppressed. Yeah. So I'm sure that'll be handled well by New York's DA.
New York's finest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's just like no result. You didn't inflict any pain on the person you hated. You killed an innocent bystander. And now you probably think, man, that bitch made me do it. Like, yeah, I'm the victim here or something. And
then look in the car, you can see like when they hit the person in the wheelchair, they don't even look like, oh, I just hit that person by accident. Like, oh no, they're just immediately in reverse. They're not even looking at who they ran over. They're just trying to get out now.
Yep.
There's no sense of like, oh, what just happened? What did I do? Oh no, I can't. Is this person okay? It's just reverse.
Yeah.
Put it in reverse, Charlene.
Dude, and your car is destroyed. Can you imagine like seeing red like that? How much of a low IQ you would have to have like to just be like, I'm going to sacrifice this brand. It looks like a new car. Like I said, probably predatorily financed, credit score of 400 or below. I'm guessing based on the behavior. And yeah, it's like, so that impulse control, it's like you ruined your life in 2 minutes to not even have an effective fight,
Because someone said something to you at the store?
Yeah, I can't imagine what started it.
You were buying blunt wraps, and then that bitch from across the street.
Yeah, like, that bitch Keisha. It's like she been running her mouth. Like, oh man, unbelievable. You kind of make calculations in your mind. Like, if I take this risk, what can I gain from it? If I bet this and I get that, then that's pretty good odds. I should go for it. I should apply for that job. I should do this. There was no calculations being done in anyone's head in this situation. It was pure emotion.
Yep. Which is similar to the next clip we have, subway fight. So there's a big subway fight here. Everyone's fighting. And look at everyone else just sitting in the chairs, just like going about their day. This is normal New York City subway antics at this point.
Yeah. Come here, bitch.
Lucky my car's not here. I'd run one of these other people over. Yep.
And so one of the funny things about this one is the intro is the girl starts fighting the girl, and then the white guy starts going like this, like, no, don't, it's not worth it, you know? And then the black boyfriend comes in and just goes, boom, now it's 2-on-2. Nobody has a choice. Nobody has a choice.
Yeah.
We're fighting in the subway now. And then Ned Schneebly just quietly gets up and takes his stuff and goes, whatever. It's a whole world of not my problem, you know?
Not my problem, and then there's no relief from above. It's not like, oh, it's not my problem. The cops will fix this. No one fixes it.
It's just like, it'll play out.
So this will just keep happening until less people go on the subway, and then the subway will fully be like a street rat zone, and then you can't use public transportation, and then the whole city, like it's one of the pillars of the city is probably public transportation. Yep. So once that's sacrificed, and then crime is sacrificed, it's like it leads to the decay of an entire city pretty quick.
So my thing is, like, we saw Rudy Giuliani kind of in the 90s, I believe.
Yeah,
was he 80s to 90s? Did he serve?
I think it was 90, maybe late 80s, but 90s, 2000s.
So there was that whole thing where, like, you couldn't go on the subway for a long time. Like, the subway was spray painted. Like, there was a period of time in New York, and they kind of cleaned it up. They made it accessible. Now young professionals are back riding it. They made it safe, undercover cops. And we're seeing the cycle again. Right?
Yep.
Where it's gone up, and now it's like, okay, we got comfortable, it's going down. For some of these cities, I don't think there's ever going to be a come up again.
It's going to be so hard to elect that Rudy Giuliani type.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't see that happening in a lot of these places.
For a while.
At least for
It'll have to be this type of behavior for like
10 years plus or something, undeniable, like multiple murders.
Yeah.
So
unless maybe maybe after Trump's 2024 term, maybe by the end of Trump's 2024 term, so 2027, 2028, DeSantis comes back. People are like, okay, this way works.
You see Daily Wire's big push to go anti-Trump, and Ben Shapiro and everybody had kind of like the anti-Trump, because Democrats are making the midterms about Trump now. They're kind of like, bringing his name up more. Joe Biden's talking negatively about MAGA Republicans. They're kind of doing a distancing.
Daily Wire's doing a little distancing from Trump?
Yeah, they're kind of like Team DeSantis, Trump. The more we talk about Trump, the more we lose. Like, we're making a miscalculation and stuff like that. So
I don't like that way of looking at it.
Yeah.
The more we talk about Trump, the more we lose. And it's like that's playing by their rules that they establish. And then it's like pretending that, like, if it wasn't for Trump, everyone would be nice, normal, like it used to be.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with that.
When instead the reaction was from
That's crazy.
Trump.
When I first got red pilled,
it was interesting because I just saw it was like a Monday morning, like Ben Shapiro tweets it and then he posted it on Instagram, and then everybody, it was kind of like they made a push for it.
That's weird.
Almost.
I don't like that. When I first got red pilled, I loved Ben Shapiro debates, Ben Shapiro, SJW, BTFO. That was all great. And there was even a time, like early on, like in 2017, where it's like, oh, Ben Shapiro, he knows everything. He should be the president. And it's like, I'm not there anymore. By a lot.
In the nicest way possible.
For a while. I'm not there anymore.
Yeah.
This political stuff has to be kind of a fight. And it's like, if you want to go back to normal and pretending like, oh yeah, both sides are, what's it called when you're playing fairly? Good faith.
Yeah, good faith.
Both sides are in good faith, and it's just like a disagreement on Trump. It's like the good faith's been out the window for a while.
So true.
So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm definitely a Trump 2024 guy, but you can have disagreements.
Yeah, of course. We can talk it out. It's just, I was thinking it was interesting. It was kind of like a coordinated, I don't know. It's their opinion on the midterm, so they're free, obviously, to have that.
Yeah.
We can be a discussion.
Of course. Here's another clip we have. Speaking of subway issues, this guy attacks this woman who's eating.
This is an accessible station. The elevator is at the center of the platform. Oh, this man is looking down.
And he just runs off. And this guy, we've seen him before. He's gone viral like 5 other times for doing basically crimes on the subway.
Yep.
He had one video of him taking a dump in a mop bucket.
Yep.
While a guy's mopping, and there's another one of him in a kiddie pool, like an inflatable outdoor pool in the subway, making a huge mess and causing a scene. So this guy's gone viral and has basically become famous for being like a criminal who I guess never gets in trouble and never has to deal with the consequences of his actions.
I think this is a bit.
It could be. I think it is
Now,
a bit too.
after 3 super virals.
But I think it's like a bit with real victims.
Yeah.
Like the bit is I'm going to go grab that lady's food and throw it in the air. But I don't think he's going to that lady like, hey, and I'm going to grab your food
5
and
minutes.
throw your fries. I think he's doing a bit, but it's like a high stakes bit that only he's in on.
All right. So him dumping in the bucket and the stealing the woman's food. Okay. But the one that he has a pool, that's like an $80 pool. Blow up, maybe, you know?
Maybe.
So I'm thinking this guy has resources. He's got props. He's doing this as kind of like a
He's
bit.
also wearing those same disgusting sweatpants and all.
And
of
they've
the
got
clips.
progressively worse. Like they
Yeah.
got more ripped.
So it's like it's a bit, but he's also homeless.
And he's also super committed. The most committed to a bit I've ever seen. So I want to dig deeper. Well, I'm not ready to make a full conclusion, but I'm sniffing around some, this guy's, he's set up to go viral.
For sure. Moving on, this next clip, Mr. Zapito here steals a 4-year-old child's necklace.
Yeah. So this is in Seattle. This guy walks up.
Kid's 4 years old.
The kid's mom is working in the restaurant and is working in the back and can't see right now. This guy just walks up.
And starts taking the necklace off the kid.
Let me take your necklace.
Which is luckily he could have just stolen the entire kid.
Pretty much, yeah. He could have done whatever.
Yeah. So if Tony Soprano saw this, he'd probably smash that guy's hand with a hammer and maybe smash his teeth with a hammer too.
Okay, now you're getting closer. You're getting closer to what Tony Soprano might do. It's a baby. your voice is even good.
4 years old.
But yeah, scumbag shit. The phrase stealing candy from a baby. It's like, I don't think I've ever seen someone literally steal from a baby on camera.
But we have to keep our borders open so people like this can come steal.
Yep. And this is Seattle, so in an extremely urban decay prone area where this guy's probably stealing $500 worth of stuff every day. Mm-hmm. Gets let out.
Yep. Let's move on. Next clip. This is a quick one. We just play it in the background. Pitbull jumps up to open the subway door, so this guy doesn't have to pay his subway fare.
Yeah, it's an off-leash pit bull that this guy is attempting to train to open up the emergency exit so he doesn't have to pay the $1.75 to get on the metro.
And these dogs love doing crimes.
These dogs love criminal activity,
Everyone
baby.
says, oh, pit bulls, they're nanny dogs.
No.
They're accomplice dogs.
And it's an off-leash pit bull with his full nuts.
Yeah.
And there's like a security guard in the background who's just watching this happen. Nobody does anything.
Just another day in the New York City subways.
They walk right in. Yep.
All right.
Big New York City subway episode.
Big New York City subway episode for sure. This next clip, a New Orleans kid, local.
Yeah.
A New Orleans kid brings a gun on the bus.
Elementary school student.
Elementary school student brings a gun on the bus after getting bullied. Obviously a scary situation. And then here's what the kid's mom said about it.
At the end of the day, I'm a woman of God, but I do not respect how my child is being held accountable for something that she was being bullied about. She was being bullied, so that's why she pulled out a firearm. It was in her possession, though it was not supposed to be in her possession. It was in her possession, and she pulled it. I don't care how y'all take it, how ignorant y'all say I'm being or whatever, but when a child is under frustration and being bullied, he's supposed to have help and with self-defense or whatever. Y'all too ignorant in New Orleans. I said that. Achille Academy
Ignorant
is
New
very
Orleans, that means us.
Yeah.
She's talking about us.
The people who saw the video of her child with a gun off the school bus.
So yeah, she shouldn't have had it, but she did. And she was getting bullied. So that was the justification for that.
I don't want to live in a society with you. Like, even close. If this is your argument or justification, it's like you almost need to go away.
I wouldn't trust you to make food for me or work at a restaurant or do anything, drive my Uber.
You and the teacher who said minor attracted persons with the 5-year-old, You need to go away in like a little pen or something, like a little area. And you guys can root around. You can have your own society where your kid has a gun and the minor, you respect the pedophiles, but not me. I'm not involved in any of this. That's insane.
Yeah.
I've never seen a level of like justifying, like there's like a base case assumption. Well, she had it. She had the gun. So she had to pull it out.
There's almost like a way where it's like the soft justification could be like, this is a confused child who's been bullied in school, who took an inappropriate step to, diffuse that situation. Obviously, she should never have had a gun, but it is a bigger issue that she's getting bullied and then she inappropriately reacted to that problem with another. And it's like, I could understand that stupid justification, which would still be incorrect, but to be like, well, she getting bullied. She had a gun. She pulled it. Like, it's like, a little too soft on it.
IQ guesses on either the mom or the child?
I'll leave that to you.
Low 80s. Low 80s is my guess.
Low 80s with a chance of a shootout.
Yeah.
Next clip, the Fulton County, which is, I believe, Atlanta.
Georgia, yeah. I don't know. Does that encompass all of Atlanta?
I'm not targeting anyone, but however, you do not get to commit crimes in my county and then decide to brag on it, which you do that for a form of intimidation and to further the gain and not be held responsible. One of the lyrics used in this indictment, just one of the lyrics is, me and my crew striking in all black. Send me the drop. We'll kick in the house. If we steal a car, we're going to take off the tag. Well, they're kicking indoors, committing home invasions, and now I'm using those lyrics that they're admitting to doing that. I'm going to continue to do that. People can continue to be angry about it. I have some legal advice. Don't confess to crimes on rap lyrics if you do not want them used, or at least get out of my county.
I like that.
I like this lady. Yeah.
That's the base way. And people will say it's like kind of like a thing of like free speech versus committing, confessing to a crime. Kind of similar how like Rudy Giuliani in the 90s was doing like stop and frisk. And it's like, well, it's an infringement on rights, but it's also going to fix a problem. So like you kind of like give and take. I see that as very similar. People are confessing to doing crimes in their rap lyrics. And then they're wanted and people are building cases against them. And it's like, well, can we use the part where you said that you did it?
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like we're going to see this. This might be one of those cases where they're taking ground right now, but it might not hold up on appeals or a couple months later. It's like there is, because I thought there was a long time where there's artistic expression. Like I thought they tried to do this in the 90s already with rap lyrics when it was getting really hard.
Imagine how embarrassing it would be if you're a rapper who's like, yeah, last week we robbed the bank or whatever. And then it's like they look into it and it's like, oh, I just said that. Like we didn't rob anybody. Like I was in Akron, Ohio last week.
It's like these are my receipts. This is my plane ticket. This is me checking into the hotel. You have a goofy white guy voice after they're using your lyrics against you.
Here. I was trying to look hard in the lyrics. There's a funny sketch that came out. A guy did like a rap sketch basically about this.
Gangsters moving silence, you heard? Yo, I'm a lucky man, almost got hit with a felon. I beat the case and I'm still in these streets, drug selling. Ignore my PO calls, I'm getting this cake. They didn't find the gun, I tossed the gun in the lake. I cheated on my girl with this Jamaican chick. My girl listened to my music, hope she don't hear this. The heroin and robberies, how I got rich. My boy Cortez supplied the guns, but I'm no snitch. Password to my safe is 456.
My boy Cortez supplied the guns, but I'm no snitch. It's so good.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh, man. All right, we're on a last part of Urban Decay. You posted this on your story the other day, the black fail-out rate. Is that from colleges?
Yeah, this is from Illinois colleges, and it says black students failing out of Illinois' four-year universities, and it says the number of black students enrolled and then the number of black students failing out. And I thought this was insane.
Me too.
The numbers are crazy. So Southern Illinois University and Chicago State University, black students' failure rate is 71% and then 89% at Chicago State. So like only 11% of black people who go into Chicago State University make it.
So it's like there's an attempt to get people in with what's it called?
affirmative action.
Affirmative
type.
action. So
Or
you-
like loosened, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, loosened for certain groups, but not others. If you're Asian or white, it's probably harder to get into these schools. If you're black, it's easier. They let you in, and then you can't do the work and keep up, and then you fail out.
Yeah.
And it's actually interesting, too, because you see this at every level. They do it for med schools. They do it for law schools. They do it for pretty much any industry you want to get involved in. And it's like, won't this lead to the discrimination that they claim existed? So if you're like going to a doctor and you're going to a black doctor, wouldn't you think, oh, because of affirmative action and all these things, that maybe the black doctor isn't as qualified?
Maybe he got into school a little easier and was kind of.
And then they would always claim that there's all discrimination, everyone, everyone's racist or whatever. But it's like now you've created a scenario where you're literally making people maybe want to avoid black doctors or black pilots or whatever, because you actually made it easier for them to get into school. So it's like you're creating the problem you were trying to go out and solve that you claimed existed, but it wasn't as bad as you said, and now it's actually probably worse than it was.
Now there's a pilot out there who's just like, hope this works out.
Dude, the co-pilot comes in and the black pilot's like, hopefully it's a white guy.
Yeah.
And if it's two
Yeah.
black guys, like, we got this, right? Like, we got this.
Dude, and I was going to say, like, an Asian doctor, find yourself an Asian doctor who got into Harvard Medical School. Because they beat out a field, just a sea of people. So many people who applied. And it's like, I want him. He's the best.
Yeah, that's
you know what
so
I mean?
true,
Like, find the
100%.
Asian doctor, because he got skewered on those interviews, on the written test, on everything.
Yeah.
So that's who I'm kind of gunning for.
Me
White
too.
people are kind of like the mean, right? Like, it's hard for us to get in, but they let a lot of us in. Asian people get the worst of it, and then black people get the easiest part of it, as we've seen with countless kind of data points. So.
Yep, absolutely. That